Because when she heard about the coronavirus pandemic, she was focused on her money. She dumped millions of dollars of stock and told you everything would be all right. She profited from a pandemic. Who does that? Excuse me, I grew up in public housing. In my neighborhood, we would say, where they do that at? She profited from the pandemic. And then when it came time to help just ordinary folk, salt of the earth, hard-working folk, hard-working Georgians who are doing it every day, giving it all they can and can barely make it, and then they lost their jobs, not to any fault of their own, but because of this virus and because of malfeasance, dereliction in duty by government that's supposed to protect you. You lost your jobs due to no fault of your own, and when it came time to give folks $600 of unemployment insurance, Kelly Loeffler said she saw no need. She said that it was counterproductive. Well, I think it's counterproductive to leave an unelected senator in office who doesn't even know how to protect the people she's supposed to be protecting. She's trying to make you afraid of me because she's afraid of you. She's afraid that you understand that she's been using her office to enrich herself rather than protect you. In her heart of hearts, she knows that she was appointed and the people of Georgia are disappointed, and come January 5th, the people of Georgia are coming to get their seat back. She invested millions of dollars, first as a Republican donor, and now she's spending millions of dollars trying to misrepresent me and misrepresent my record. But I'm not worried about that. I've been in public life a long time, not as someone running for office, but I've been out here doing this work. Somebody needs to tell Kelly Loeffler that the folk who sold her that seat don't own that seat. It belongs to the people of Georgia, and the people of Georgia are coming to get their seat back. Because the people of Georgia understand that if my neighbor doesn't have health care, if my neighbor is left vulnerable because she has a pre-existing condition, she may be uncovered, but because she's my neighbor, I too am unprotected. We should have known that before the pandemic. But a deadly airborne disease is a tragic opportunity to learn some eternal lessons. I'm sorry, they put the preacher behind the mic on a Sunday. It is tragic. It is deeply tragic. Over 300,000 American deaths. It is also the parable of a pandemic. We should have known before the pandemic that health care is a human right, and it is in my enlightened self-interest for my neighbor to be covered. But now that we're dealing with a deadly airborne disease, my neighbor can cough, and I'm in trouble because my neighbor coughed. That does not make my neighbor my enemy. And so I have to resist the politics of division, the folk who want to make us afraid of one another, then cause us to stand together with one another. What that means is that we are as close together in our humanity as a cough. My neighbor is uncovered, but I'm protected, and so I should want my neighbor to have health care. But not only that, I should want my neighbor's children to have access to a good quality education. But not only that, I should want my neighbor to have a livable wage. I should want my neighbor to not have to choose between prescription drugs and food in the richest nation on the planet. Dr. King said we're tied in a single garment of destiny, caught up in an inescapable network of mutuality. And whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. He said, I can't be all that I ought to be until you are all that you ought to be. And you cannot be all that you ought to be until I'm all that I ought to be. We are caught up in this thing together. And there's nothing that can protect us from one another. And so we have to push back hard against the forces of bigotry and hatred and xenophobia. We have to stand together in this great moment, in this American moment. And I believe we're going to do it. I believe we're going to get it right this time. I believe that the people of Georgia are going to stand up once again and remind folk that this is Georgia, this is the home state of Martin Luther King Jr., and in this moment, we're going to help the whole country to get it right. So my dad used to wake me up every morning at 6 o'clock. He and my mom believed in hard work. I'm no stranger to hard work. And I'm going to work hard for the people of Georgia. I don't mind working hard. My dad and my mom poured that into me. My mother's from Waycross, Georgia. You know where that is? Waycross, Georgia. And she grew up in the 1950s. Black teenager growing up in Waycross, Georgia, picking somebody else's cotton. But because this is America, the other day, the 82-year-old hands that used to pick somebody else's cotton picked her youngest son to be a United States Senator from the great state of Georgia. She said, son, work hard. If you work hard, you can make it in America. And you can help somebody else along the way. And so she poured that into me, and my dad would wake me up every morning at 6 o'clock. Didn't matter. It could have been a school day, could have been summertime. Just wake up. And he would say, get up. Get dressed. Put your shoes on, son. Get ready. Now, it was Saturday, and I said, Dad, put my shoes on. Get dressed. It's 6 o'clock. And I wasn't but 10 years old. So one day I asked him, get ready for what? I stumped him, and he wasn't expecting that question. He said, I don't know. I'll figure that out later. Just be ready. Now, that's annoying when you're a little boy. When you're a teenager, that's annoying. But I'm glad my dad woke me up early every morning and told me to get ready, because in this defining moment in America, I want you to know I'm ready. I'm ready to be your next United States Senator. Georgia, are you ready to make history? More importantly, are you ready to make a difference? My dad would wake me up every morning at dawn. The thing about dawn is that it's already morning, but it's still dark. It's dark, but morning is on the way. It's dark right now. Many of you have lost loved ones. I've had to eulogize folk in my own church. Many of you have lost livelihoods. You know other folk who've lost loved ones, lost livelihoods. It's dark. Folk in the highest levels of our government waging war against our noble principle of democracy. It's dark. Right here in this state, our own United States senators waging war against the voices of the people of Georgia. Trying to undo what you did on November 3rd while representing you. It's dark. We got big issues. Pushing through this pandemic, pushing through this economic downturn is dark. But somewhere I read that weeping may endure for the night, but joy comes in the morning. And I've got a feeling in my bones that morning is on the way. My dad said, I don't know exactly what I'll have for you to do, just be ready. I'm telling you that morning is on the way. The question, Georgia, is, are you ready? This is a new moment. This is a new season. This is a new opportunity. Whoever would have thought that when the dust cleared on November 3rd, there'd be two runoff races, they'd both be in Georgia, and they'd define the balance of the Senate. It's a new moment. We are well positioned to undo the old Southern strategy where politicians got elected by dividing us. It's time we elect somebody who wants to bring us together. Are you ready? Well, if you're ready, then get up, get dressed, put your shoes on, go vote. Tell your neighbors to vote. Tell your friends to vote. Call folk you like. Call folk you don't like. Call folk who owe you money and tell them it's time to vote. Are you ready? Get up. Get dressed. Put your shoes on. Let's fight until everybody has health care, until everybody has a livable wage, until all of our children are safe, until our democracy is safe, until we push back against this pandemic and bring into fruition a new American moment. We the people can do it. God bless you. Let's go.